Sabalenka and Sharapova's glamorous night with Beckham, Berrettini and Fernandez's comebacks loom. Djokovic settles in Athens after the conclusion of the U.S. Open, and with the Asian swing approaching, ATP and WTA stars are preparing for the final part of the season. It's a transitional week following the end of the North American swing. Following her title win at Flushing Meadows, AthensSabalenka joined Maria Sharapova and Frances Tiafoe at a luxurious event in New York, which was also attended by legendary ex-footballer David Beckham. Meanwhile, Novak Djokovic appeared in a recent video training on a tennis court in Greece with his son, Stefan. Shortly after it was announced, he changed his residence from Belgrade to Athens. Separately, Leylah Fernandez and Matteo Berrettini shared photos as they prepare for their comebacks in Asia. Berrettini set for Asian swing comeback. Matteo Berrettini is all set for his return to the courts in a week's time during the Asian swing, where he will play the Hangzhou Open. The Italian has once again been sidelined by an injury in recent months, having played only one match in the last 4 months. The former Wimbledon runner-up was having a good season, even re-entering the top 30, but an injury kept him off the courts. The Italian shared a video of his last practice session as he gets ready for his comeback. At the Rome Open in May, he retired from his round of 32 match against Casper Ruud, an injury that forced him to miss the French Open and a large part of the grass court swing. He returned just in time for Wimbledon, but he fell in the first round without being in full physical form and then announced another long absence to recover. Berrettini missed the entire American swing and hopes to return in a few days in China. Final prep, white heavy checkmark. See you in Hangzhou. China Hammer Men Wrestling. He posted on Instagram. Leylah Fernandez shares behind-the-scenes photos from NYC. Leylah Fernandez shared a series of photos from her time in New York from her personal camera, showing a behind-the-scenes look after her time at Flushing Meadows. The Canadian arrived at the U.S. Open full of confidence, especially after winning her first WTA 500 title at the DC Open a month earlier. She reached the third round at Flushing Meadows but was defeated by eventual champion AthensSabalenka, who got her revenge for their 2021 semi-final match. Fernandez is taking a few weeks off before her return to the courts at the end of the month at the China Open. AthensSabalenka and other stars celebrate in New York. AthensSabalenka is the star of the moment after winning her 4th major title last Saturday, defeating Amanda Anisimova in the U.S. Open final. The world number one has had a week full of celebrations and recently shared photos from an event she attended in New York for Stella Artois, where she joined David Beckham for an important brand event. Maria Sharapova and American Frances Tiafoe also joined the evening's festivities, sharing photos of the traditional Stella Artois dinner alongside major figures from sports and entertainment. Sabalenka had a dream 2 weeks at the U.S. Open, where she secured her 4th Grand Slam title, all on hard courts. The Belarusian has a 56-10 record this season, with 4 titles, the most significant being the U.S. Open. She took revenge for her final losses at the Australian Open and Roland Garros, as well as her semi-final loss at Wimbledon. Novak Djokovic training in Greece. Novak Djokovic recently appeared in a video from Greece, training with his son Stefan after his reported change of residence following the U.S. Open. The 24-time Grand Slam champion left his residence in Belgrade after a reported controversy with the Serbian government over his support for the protests that took place in Serbia in 2024. The former world number one was eliminated in the U.S. Open semifinals by Carlos Alcaraz and, after his days in New York, traveled to Athens, where he will have his new residence with his family. Novak Djokovic training in Greece. Novak Djokovic recently appeared in a video from Greece, training with his son Stefan after his reported change of residence following the U.S. Open. The 24-time Grand Slam champion left his residence in Belgrade after a reported controversy with the Serbian government over his support for the protests that took place in Serbia in 2024. The former world number one was eliminated in the U.S. Open semifinals by Carlos Alcaraz and, after his days in New York, traveled to Athens, where he will have his new residence with his family.